Hello everybody and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build that I've done recently. This is the first part of a Christmas series that I'm doing, building Christmas homes. A little bit of a side note is that I'm actually Jewish. I don't celebrate Christmas and never have. So trying to decorate the outside of a home for Christmas has been a little bit interesting for me because every time I put the decorations up, it looks a little bit like overdone, I guess, and I don't know if I'm just like not putting them in the right spots or anything, but yeah, it's a little bit strange for me to be doing Christmas homes and Christmas decorations. Anyway, this video is split into two parts because the video would have been really long, like at least an hour if I didn't split it. And I did speed it up a lot, but it took me a lot of time to do this house, mostly because I was having roofing problems. I really wanted to have like a catwalk on the second floor. Um, and so I had the issue where the roofing cuts into the house, which was pretty annoying. I've had that issue a lot, and I can never seem to like not get it to cut into the home, and I keep trying like different ways to stop that from happening, but yeah, it's one of the features of the game in its current state that just really bothers me, that like you can't have any sort of like open section, like two-floor section that's open, that's near an exterior wall that has a roof on the outside of it, because the roof will cut in, which I had thought they would have fixed by now, but they haven't. So hopefully they'll fix it soon. But I don't know. I kind of did like a lot of playing around with just the exterior look of this home. I had like an idea in mind of what I wanted to do, and then I kind of just like forgot what I wanted to do. So I kind of improvised a bit with this build. Um, I at first had like that roof that you see me adjusting there. That was going all the way to the roof that was totally on top of the house, and then I realized it just looked horrible like that. So eventually I do move those sections down, but you do see me creating the dormer here, which dormers are a bit of an issue in The Sims 4 because if you don't build it piece by piece, the way you see me doing here, the roof when you're in build mode will cut in, so you can't really see anything like on the floor where the roof is supposed to be covering. So yeah, you kind of have to build it in pieces. I don't really know that I'm explaining that correctly, but yeah, I mean, hopefully like the visual in this video will help you understand what I was doing and why I was building this in pieces. I spent a lot of time adjusting the roof to make sure that it was level. I deleted quite a bit of footage of me adjusting the roof, and I did leave a lot of it in still because I personally find it helpful when people leave things about roofing in because I struggle with roofing in the game. So I was hoping that maybe by leaving it in that would also like be helpful to other people. So we will see. You will see me struggle quite a bit with different parts of this home. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert in roofing because I'm clearly not. But I've definitely improved since first getting the game, so that's good. This is another little fun fact where the spandrels, I think they call them, if you have a column under a frieze, the column shrinks. And so the spandrel to connect to the column will like go down a step, but then it looks like it's dangling in midair. So you have to fiddle with it, and sometimes it'll connect and sometimes it won't. So I spent a lot of time deleting the spandrels and playing with those as well. This build got to be quite frustrating at times. But yeah, I wanted to make a Christmas themed build, obviously, because it's Christmas time, and even though I don't celebrate Christmas, I love the holidays. So like the holiday season is my favorite time of year. I think everybody's just really cheerful. And I like winter. I like the snow, which probably shouldn't say, given that I'm from Boston. We had quite a bit of snowfall last year. Um, but we haven't had any yet so far this year, and I'm a little bit upset about that. It's been pretty warm here. It was nearly like 60 degrees the other day, which like it's December. Come on. Like let's have it a little bit colder so we have to bundle up in sweaters and be all cozy and ugh, I don't know. I have frustrations. I've seen a lot of YouTubers like attach that section of roofing to corners. Um, to try and like make the corner look finished. I've never been able to successfully do it without roofing poking through. I might not be leaving enough space. I think maybe I need like 2 tiles of space to attach that instead of one. I'm not sure, but yeah, I just added the just that like half gable roof instead. And then I don't know what I was doing with the spandrels there. I don't know why I was deleting it piece by piece, but apparently I felt the need to do that. I don't know. Um, this build involved a lot of I don't know moments, and just kind of winging it and figuring out what looked good on the fly. Which I found that when I'm building while also recording, I kind of get nervous, like I can't make any mistakes, which is silly because I can just delete mistakes, like if I make them. And like I'm sure like people who are better builders than I am are probably like, oh my god, you're doing this all wrong, or you're doing this in a way where like it's taking you a really long time to do something that like is actually much simpler than you're making it be. But um, yeah, I mean, I'm not claiming to be perfect at building or even an expert at building. It's just something I really enjoy doing. Building has always been my favorite part of the game, so yeah. Um, I do add in another dormer at some point. I don't know when that comes into play. I tried playing around with roof shapes. I didn't like the way it looked. I remember looking at the house at this point and being like, I don't know, something about it's just not doing it for me. So, um, that's me giving up uh, for the time being and moving on to a different section of the house while I was frustrated with how the front looked, um, in an attempt to just keep building but to like calm myself down. And then I cut into the room and that was just really frustrating for me, and the roofing was cutting in and I was like, oh god, like this is gonna be terrible. And then I was like, you know what, we're gonna wait until you do the layout, and then hopefully once you create the rooms, the roofing won't stick into the house anymore. And yeah, I was trying to take some deep breaths at times during this build. It was a very stressful build for me. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy it, because I always enjoy building, and sometimes it's fun to like be stressed out. Like this sounds really weird, but it's fun sometimes to be stressed out when you're building because um like it I get really into it during those moments. Like I get very intense about what I'm building and whether it looks good or not, and like that's kind of sometimes when you figure out techniques that end up working really well or turning out really cool, um, because then the perfectionist in me comes out and like I take risks that I wouldn't normally take. I don't really know why I'm calling building in The Sims 4 risky, but yeah, I mean that's normally when I switch up my style. So um, yeah, no, this has involved a lot of stressful moments. I mean, like, if you just look at a like screenshot of this house, it probably doesn't look like it was that difficult to build, but it really was for some reason. I think it's all the small little details that were involved. There were like a billion different roofs, and I kept forgetting to like put trim on all of them and do all of them. I jumped around quite a bit while building this. Normally, like, I build, like, in a very orderly way. Like, I'll go, I'll finish the entire outside. Like, I'll do the entire roof all in one shot. I'll do the entire siding all in one shot. And I didn't do that with this one. Here I was trying to figure out something for this roof in the back, and I couldn't figure out anything that I liked. I probably shouldn't have created kind of like that dormer on the top, and I got lazy there and just dragged the gable roof all the way across, which would mean that like in that portion of the dormer, like the roof would have gone through, and I spent all that time on the front of the house working on the dormer so that the roofing didn't cut through, and then eventually in the back of the house I was like, no, like you're not taking a shortcut there. And I do at some point change that roof so that it's like not all in one piece. I think I change it. I remember yelling at myself at one point and being like, you're lazy, like you're just being lazy right now, you need to fix that roof, like whatever. So, and then this is where I decided to add in the third dormer in the front of the house. And I am pretty moderately happy with how the front of the house came out. I did want to make it like this. I had in mind the entire time that I was doing this that this was a Christmas build. So I did want to make it more Christmassy than it turned out looking. If you took off all of the decorations, it would just look like a normal house. And I guess that's good because like if you download this house after Christmas is over, it's not gonna feel like this house is only made for Christmas. Um, but I mean, I kind of was hoping to go with more of a Christmas look. I did build a Christmas starter home, and I'll be making a video on that later this week. Um, and that one's pretty Christmassy, like the siding and everything. Like I used a ton of red and green. And so here in this house, I was starting to use some red and green, and then I thought it looked stupid. So then I changed it. I was playing with the window colors, and I got really annoyed because the shutters for the windows, they don't have the same shades for those tall ones and the short ones, and that really upset me. So watching this back, I like that red paneling that I used on the dormers, and I get rid of that. But like now that I'm watching this back, I was like, I should never have gotten rid of it. Not like the red on the front of the facade, but just like the red under the roofing, the red paneling. I think that really like would have looked nice if I left it in, but I didn't. I thought it looked bad at the time, and like when I'm building in the game, things tend to look different to me than when I'm like editing this. So it looked really bad to me in the game, like much worse than it looked in this video. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess if you had it in your game, it might not look that good. I'm not sure. Um, Same thing goes with the door. I think it would have been like very like fun and Christmassy to leave it red, but I felt like it didn't match the rest of the house, so then I changed it. Um, I had a lot of fights with the chimney. I cut out, it was like a solid 5 minutes of fighting with chimneys, and then just left like the final chimney that I chose, because I mean, it's kind of boring to watch someone fight with a chimney. But yeah, I was having some chimney struggles when I was building this house. I mean, I could make an entire video about all the problems I had while building this house, and it seems so ridiculous because this house does not like look that complicated, but I don't know. I was having all of the problems. So then I started the landscaping, and um, I wanted to keep it very bland in terms of color because in the winter in New England we don't really have a lot of like landscaping going on or a lot of plants because it's cold and it's winter and it snows and most plants can't survive in the winter. Um, so I kept it very basic in terms of color and just used a lot of green and white, and then I put in some lavender just randomly because I felt like lavender looked like something that could survive the winter. I don't know if it actually could. I have never really kept a plant alive in my life. So yeah, I'm not really an expert on plants and how they live and etc. But yeah, I kept the landscaping pretty basic and pretty colorless, but I really do love those trees that they released in the holiday pack slash patch slash wherever they came from. Those trees are great. When I was making some final changes to the window, decided that I did like the one with shutters better now that the house was all built and everything. And then I started the layout and everything went wrong. Um, Not everything, I guess, but yeah, it was just frustrating because I couldn't really figure out a layout that I liked for the space because um, I don't like having wasted space, but I do end up having a back hallway in this house that, like, I didn't put anything in there, it just, like, it ends up being wasted space. But that's okay. You know, I tried, whatever. I had a lot of problems figuring out the stair layout to go upstairs. I cut out about 5 minutes of footage of me trying to finagle a way to get the stairs to look good without having the roof cut into the top. Because when I made a room there so that it would look down, if you put in a fence, it suddenly doesn't count as a room anymore, per the fencing, or not the fencing, the roofing rules in this game. So I was very annoyed. And I tried it multiple different ways. I tried every troubleshooting technique that I could think of, and it just wasn't working, and I'm still a little bit sad about that. I do end up switching the orientation of the stairs. They somehow ended up outside at one point. I don't know how that happened, but that was a thing that happened. And I really wanted to have like a catwalk upstairs that looked down into the living room, and I also wanted it to look down into the foyer. But yeah, the roof was just not participating. The roof wanted none of that. So we ended up having none of that, which, I mean, that's not entirely true. We do have the 2-floor living room, but it doesn't hang over the front of the house the way I had hoped. So I turned that small room by the stairs into like a kid's skill room, and then, you know, I was just laying out the rest of the bedrooms. You do see me trying to finagle the second story open area of the living room. Thinking back, I should have just left it the way it is here, where it doesn't touch any of the walls, so therefore the roof doesn't come through. But I didn't like it like that, and I wanted to move it back, and the roofing wasn't participating in that. I do switch over to the bedroom, so it takes a little bit for me to get to the point where I get into a major fight with the living room. But yeah, it's a very exciting fight. There were a lot of punches thrown. It was just very vicious. Yeah, that's a lie. I wish I could have punched it. If I could have punched my computer when this was happening, I would have been a very happy person. I tried like putting windows through, because what I didn't like is if I left it like that, there would be no exterior windows to like the entire second floor hallway. And for some reason it felt like a waste to me to have a 2-story living room and not have any exterior windows bringing natural light into the second floor hallway. So yeah, I tried to use those arched windows, and that was a bad idea. That didn't like fit the style of the house. That didn't look good. Um, and then I mean, I kind of gave up, to be honest. I just it was just too much at that point. I was just like, you know what, game, you're built a certain way, and I guess I'm gonna have to listen to the way that you were built, in which you don't like having 2-story rooms that have any roofs touching them. I don't know why. I don't know why you can't be friends with a 2-story room, but you can't. So, I mean, hopefully I don't know. There are a lot of things that I would like the developers of the game to fix, and I don't know if they should make the two-story room thing a priority. But I feel like they do have to figure out a way to cut down on the roofing cutting into things. And I don't really know how you can do that in a game update because it sounds like a very foundational part of the game. But I really do hope that they improve it. I mean, they have improved the way that Sims react to things happening, and I guess if they can change, like, reactions through a patch, they should be able to improve roofing. Like, wouldn't you think? I don't know, but we'll see. I've been a lot more hopeful about the game recently and about, like, improvements, and I think it's partly because I've stopped going on the forums. So I've stopped seeing people complain a lot about the game, and it's just given me a better attitude overall. Because I'm a person, I tend to feed off other people's attitudes, and when other people are very negative, I become very negative too. So, um, yeah, it was, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it does take me a long time to change that archway in the second floor. But yeah, I think from here it's mostly just finishing touches on the build. I think it's very interesting that I waited so long to paint the back of the house. I don't really know why I did that, like, I don't know what I was waiting for. I mean, the siding itself, once I figured out the colors I wanted, didn't give me that much stress, so yeah, I don't know. But I left it blank for a while, which is probably good, because when you build like decks and stuff and put fences around them, then it deletes the siding that you do. Um, maybe we'll pretend like I waited on purpose. Probably not. Uh, so I put these windows in, and I eventually changed them back to brown, but like now that I look at it, I like the white and blue better. I was really trying to go with the Christmas theme for this house, and when I say really trying, I meant in my head I was really trying, but like per my actions, I was not. So like I was painting this house like gray with blue tones and like gray brown brick. And then I was like, well, I got the green siding, so I guess like that's a Christmas color, so I can't have blue in the windows because that would clash with the green siding. Or so, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. It was kind of a boneheaded move. I think I will like this house more after Christmas because it's gonna still work for people. Like it's not stuck in a Christmas design. Um, but like yeah, I totally didn't live up to the Christmas goals with this house. Um, my Christmas starter home that I have a build of does better in terms of that. But yeah, this house is yeah, really not perfect in that way. But yeah, I think I'm finishing up now with the building. And so I should have the video of the furnishing available either later today or tomorrow, depending on how long it takes to upload. So I will be back soon with the second part of these videos. Thanks for watching, and be sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you all have a great day.